Figures show that hundreds of thousands of accidents happen in the home every year, particularly amongst older people. So I've come along here to meet David and Linda Neat to talk about the sort of hazards people should look out for. Well, Linda and Dave, you've got a beautiful home here. It's all very neat and tidy. Your namesake, Mr. and Mrs. Neat. I think I love it. I do. How conscious are you about safety generally around the home? How often do you get your boiler serviced?
I can't remember really when we had it done last. Something we should do.
Well, it's very important that you have your boiler serviced annually, and it's more importantly is that you have it serviced by a competent, gas safe registered engineer.
Well, to my amateur eye, this all looks absolutely hunky-dory, but how would I tell if there was something going wrong with the boiler?
And you can look through, you'll see there's a window there where you can look at the flame picture itself and see whether the flame is burning nice and blue. That helps. Well, that's good. But actually, to prevent all of that, what we recommend is that you do have the boiler serviced annually.
Now, something else that's really important to remember is that any faulty gas appliance, be it a boiler, a fire, a hob, can generate carbon monoxide, and that can poison you. It can even kill you if it's not dealt with quickly. Trouble is, you can't smell it, you can't taste it, you can't hear it. And recent research from National Grid shows that over half the pensioners in the UK don't have an audible carbon monoxide alarm.
It's absolutely vital that people have an audible carbon monoxide alarm. Even though people may have their appliances serviced annually, if there's something was to go wrong and carbon monoxide was being produced from any appliance, then that alarm is your safety net. Well, the symptoms of carbon monoxide poisoning are, you can feel quite lightheaded, maybe some sickness and nausea, some tiredness, almost flu-like symptoms are what's caused by carbon monoxide. So if you're suffering from that type of thing and it's constant, then you really should think about having your appliances checked.
Of course, the other absolute must around the home are smoke alarms. Now, you should have a smoke alarm fitted on every level of the home. Now, I know we've all got a lot going on in our lives, but you should test your alarms every month and replace the batteries once a year. Another concern, particularly for older people, is bogus callers. Over a third of people admit they don't always ask for ID from callers at their home. You might often get tradesmen calling, but never let anyone into your home unless you've checked that they are who they say they are and they have a valid reason for calling. Bona fide tradesmen won't mind you asking for ID, and they'll always have it. Now, as well as gas and fire, it's important to be aware of other dangers in the home. 72% of elderly people going to A&E after an accident in the home had a fall. You can dramatically reduce the chances of this by installing rails in the bathroom and ensuring that rugs and carpets are properly secured to the floor. I'm terribly guilty of overloading my electric sockets. I know it's something I shouldn't do, but with these extra extensions now you can get, just plug loads and loads of gadgets in.
The sockets are meant for one plug and at the very most two. I think what you have to do is be very observant. Number one, don't overload your plugs in the first place, and nobody should do that. And if you do have plugs, just occasionally, switch them all off in the evening. That's the other thing. And look for marks of scorching on the plug. If there's more than one plug in the socket, then you really need to think about changing that and have another socket put in.
So the things to remember if you smell gas or you suspect a gas leak is that you must not smoke or light matches, and don't turn electrical switches on or off. What you should do is open the doors and the windows, turn off the meter at the control valve unless the smell of gas and the meter is in the cellar, as often that'll need a light switch to be turned on. And immediately call the free 24-hour National Gas Emergency Service on 0800 111 999, whether the smell is inside or outside the property.